The reason I'm able to say the words is not because I know more about real estate or because I'm a more practiced speaker. I mean, yes, I'm a more practiced speaker than you are. It's because, Isaac, I'm coming at it from the viewpoint that this is a motivated seller and they want to talk to me. They want my help. Here's the man.
Hey there, Dennis.
Hey.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, you sound good.
Perfect. Sweet.
Actually, what are you using for the microphone?
I think it's Razor brand.
Okay.
Got it from Walmart.
Is it close to your lips? You got to get the thing within.
Is it that hard to hear? Do I need a?
No, I can hear you. There's just a little bit of an echo.
There's an echo?
Or not an echo, but it sounds like laptop. Are you sure can you click on the bottom left to check the sound source?
Yeah, it's the right microphone. Wait, same.
Just for fun, switch it to the laptop so we can hear the difference.
All right, it'll be going to my phone. Hey. All right, now it's on my phone.
Keep talking.
Hello, Dennis.
It sounds the same to me. Go now, switch to the other one.
Yep, okay, I switched.
Keep talking.
Does it need to be that much closer?
There we go. That's better. Whatever
That's
you
better?
did there.
So I should just hold it up to my mouth then?
You can hear me, right? This sounds pretty clear, right?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Now, how does it sound? It doesn't sound as good, right? You can tell there's a difference, right?
Yeah. The quality definitely drops.
You've got to get the microphone up to your lips like this. Unless you have something like this, you can't see this. It's out of view, but this is a fancy shotgun mic.
Okay. So the one that the boom guys have?
Yeah. Or the movie studios will do, but then you got to have a guy holding the
right.
Thing
exactly.
Like that. Yeah.
All
so
right.
I think that's good. And it looks like one of our favorite VAs, Yaya's here.
Hey there, Yaya.
Hi,
Why don't you introduce yourself? Say a few things.
I'm Yahya. I'm an operations specialist.
What does that mean?
Well, I repurpose articles, still learning. I don't do it perfectly. I do a lot of stuff, actually.
Yeah. Just so Isaac can get a sense, what kinds of things do you do?
I transcribe Zoom meetings like this, like the one we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then we turn them into articles, find pictures, and assemble that all together.
Okay.
We do that, edit videos and stuff like that. I don't do pretty much.
Yeah.
Just these two things.
Yeah. And why do we do that?
Transparency. And
transparency is important, but why are we repurposing content? Well, I mean, this is going to be a Zoom video that you're going to work on later, but then why would we want to turn it into an article? And why would we pull out social media snippets?
So you can rank better.
Rank better on what?
I don't know on anything, actually. I understand that what you're basically trying to do is the extra E you talk about experience, which they added to EEAT.
That's right.
If you do
for Isaac who wants to, So for Isaac who wants to attract people that want to sell real estate in Vancouver, Washington, there's keywords that we want to rank on for that. And if we don't satisfy Google's EEAT, we're not going to rank unless we do tricks, which will get us penalized when we get found out eventually.
Yeah, what all of these other people do, SEO experts.
But then they're just using trickery because we know the only legitimate path to actually driving results on Google and to be Googleable, are you Googleable, is real stories, real experience, real things that show, not to Google, but show to someone who's looking to sell their property, their land that's undeveloped or whatnot, that Isaac's a good person to talk to among the other people that they could talk to. So the point of this is to gather those snippets that we can repurpose. So it's not meant as a, 40-minute long podcast, because who wants to listen to a podcast with Isaac and me talking?
Right. No kidding.
I don't care about that, but this is just a convenient vehicle where in one shot we can get everything. That's what we're trying to do. But just happens to be that the vehicle of the podcast allows us to ask a series of questions and build a vibe, and then Isaac can tell stories, and we will take portions of what he says. Doesn't matter if he's got ums and ahs. Doesn't matter if there's like small talk like we have here. That just creates, 5 minutes of stuff that whoever's processing the video has to get past to grab the meat out of the conversation, right?
I like that.
Yeah. So Isaac, how did we come to meet, and what got us to this point?
So I first discovered who you were at Tommy Mello's VIP event at Vertical Track, I think in 2022. Is that when you spoke? 2022.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So that turned me on to you because my boss that I went with at the time, he was super just like we got to get this marketing crap down. Everybody usually is like that, but he's like, you need to look into this dentist guy. I want to look into him. What's he about? So pretty sure I did what most people do after those events. I just find whoever spoke and just friend them on Facebook. Uh, I didn't start the conversation with you, actually. I believe I had posted a picture of me bow fishing, and from there, I think you asked me a couple questions about that just to start the conversation going. And that's just, where we started, really.
And you were cynical at first.
I was cynical.
Well, I got the sense you felt that there was some kind of catch. Because anytime you're talking to somebody, they're trying to sell you or, you know,
Right. Because it was a total cold outreach.
yeah.
And honestly, I was a little bit confused just because it's like, why is this verified guy talking to me? You know,
Verified. So that was important to you.
it was important to me. And honestly, right after that, I told my whole family, I was like, guys, I'm famous now. I got someone verified talking to me.
You can buy that now, right?
For how much? I know you can on X, right?
You can buy it on almost all of them. I think Facebook was
Wow.
like $13.99 a month, and Instagram's also another $13.99, and pretty much, yeah, all of them you can buy. But mine's real. I've had them for like 15 years.
Can you buy
Before
it
you could buy it.
once you reach a threshold of engagement, or
No, you can
can you
just
just
straight up
buy
buy
it
it.
right away? I
You can
could
buy it.
buy it right now.
You could.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's a,
so do you have to pay for it right now, or did you get grandfathered in?
I'm grandfathered in, but if you pay, you get access to support, which is a nice insurance policy to have.
Okay, that's cool.
So the blue check on the different networks, you found that was somehow authoritative.
To a degree, I would think so.
Did it matter like how many followers I have or like who I'm friends with, or just out of curiosity, like how in your mind did you decide who is reputable?
That check was kind of just the first thing, it's a first glance thing that you see, just an automatic impression, like, okay, they have some sort of authority, I guess before you could buy verification, which at that time, I don't know if you could, or I didn't even know.
Back then you
So,
couldn't. Now
okay.
you can.
Yeah, so I was like, whoa, okay. And then I saw who you were connected with on Facebook, and it's just all of the important people who speak at the events for plumbing, HVAC, and electrical roofing. So I was like, wow, okay, so this guy has the connections. He knows the industry, and to me that definitely grants some authority. You know what you're talking about.
What do you think about what you've learned about digital marketing? Whether it's like what we shared at Vertical Track or maybe in some of the time we spent together. What have you learned and how has that maybe changed your view of digital marketing?
I think the way I remember you explained digital marketing, you talked about your dollar a day campaign strategy. And I thought it was stupidly simple, honestly. And from what I had heard up until that point, it was like all these marketers saying digital marketing is super hard. Usually it was, this is why you need to hire me because it's not an easy thing to do at all. So digital marketing is super hard. You have to do this, this, and this. I'm trying to remember what those things would be. Obviously, the keywords are important on websites, but I mean, those are things you can definitely do yourself. I have heard that it's very complicated and you kind of say the opposite, which gives power to, the business owner and whoever is trying to control their own marketing.
So that seems like a conflict. Like, how could it be? Like, is what I'm saying possibly true? Because it does seem simple. What we talked about last time was that can you produce 1 minute videos and then use ChatGPT to edit that to talk about what you do? Questions. So someone who wants to sell their land, they have questions about that. Can
Right.
you answer those questions? What makes you qualified to do a transaction with them versus someone else? And I'd ask you, do you think that you can answer those questions?
I think I definitely could answer those questions.
And who knows more about buying and selling land, you or me?
I would.
Yeah. Even though I might know more about SEO and this other kind of stuff. So don't you think that if you answer those questions and then you follow our framework to build location service pages like we talked about, of which you have none, and you put information about your company and who you are, of which you have none,
Hmm.
Try Googling your name and all this. It's not there.
Right.
No amount of technology or agency, whatever, is going to overcome that unless you solve those core fundamental, I'm a reputable business thing, right? So we understand the idea of are you Googleable is do you have evidence that shows that you do the thing that you say you do in the city that you say you do it.
Yeah.
So you're in Logan, Utah,
I'm in Logan, Utah right now.
but you're serving customers in the Vancouver, Washington area and suburbs
Yeah.
around. So what can you do? I'm not asking rhetorically because I think it's key for other people to understand. What can you do to show that for people that want to sell undeveloped land in the suburbs of Vancouver, Washington, that you are the choice?
So I grew up in Vancouver, Washington area. I grew up there 18 years I was there. Then I moved out here to Utah. I wouldn't ever feel comfortable selling or buying land in an area that I don't understand. So moving to Utah, I wouldn't feel comfortable buying and selling land. I mean, you can get to know an area and, learn to buy and sell land there, but Vancouver, Washington's where I grew up. So I know Vancouver, Washington very well. And I think that's what qualifies me to buy and sell in that area. And that's why I want to continue buying and selling in that area because I know the struggles that people run into in that area. They might not be area specific, but I know the demographics, I know the big cities, I know where land is selling and where it's not. Um, and I have lots of friends and family there. So I just have lots of connections.
So of all the things that you could do, all the professions, why did you decide that this was going to be your business?
So when I worked at a plumbing company in like 2020, I was really good friends with my boss. And, we were talking about side hustles. And, it's always like everyone wants to invest in real estate because they hear that's the best thing you can do. That's how you get rich. 99% of the 1% own real estate. So everybody wants to get into real estate. And I had told him that. And he's like, well, there's this way you can actually invest in real estate where you can, make money, but you can also solve other people's problems. It's not just about how can I make the most money for myself? It is taking problems away from other people and just making it a win-win situation. So, for example, right now I'm working with someone who her husband had died in 2022. And since then, she hasn't been paying the taxes. She doesn't even know how to pay the taxes. And she's like, you know what? I don't even care about the property right now. Right now, it's just sitting there collecting taxes that I'm gonna have to pay. I don't even use the land. I don't even live near there anymore. So if you can figure out how to pay the taxes for me, I'd love if you could just take it out of my hands. And so right now, I'm buying that piece of land. I'm taking care of those taxes for her, and she's just going to walk away with straight cash.
What are some of the other situations or maybe some more experiences that are like that you can talk about?
Some more experiences that are like that. Here's a common one I have. This one kind of makes me laugh. So a really common one is people who are just out of state from the land that they own, and they just forget about it. I wish I had so much money that I could just forget about land that I have. But, they just don't want it sitting there and they want to free up the cash that's in it. That's one common one. Another common one is, like I said, people who have been deceased, their kids don't know what to do with this piece of land. They got their own stuff going on, so they don't want to have to pay taxes on this. Another good example would be, a divorce. You want to split up the assets, you want to offload all the assets. So I'd have to work between the ex-husband and the ex-wife to, come to a conclusion on, what are we gonna buy this for? How can I help you? What are you guys gonna be happy walking away with? So that's another way that I help people.
So in almost all these situations, there's some life event that causes someone who has some land who needs to somehow get rid of it, but they don't know how to do that because this thing got thrown into their lap because their husband died or, there's a divorce or some kind of life situation. It sounds like even though there's a lot of people that can buy and sell real estate, I mean, everyone knows 20 real estate agents.
Right.
There's some angle that you provide specifically around land that someone owns where they're in a situation where they don't want, they're out of state or their wife died or something like that. Talk to me about what that's like and the expertise that's required and some of the challenges that these folks might not otherwise realize or appreciate.
Okay.
Because what I'm trying to show is that you're not just the average real estate agent, right? They can't
Right.
every 50-year-old mom's a real estate agent, right?
hmm
Why wouldn't they just go to that person?
Because I'm the one buying the land. When I do talk to potential sellers, I really make sure to find out what their problem is and how they want it addressed. There's obviously the conventional way of buying and selling land, which is just, you name your price. All right, I'll give you that price. We'll close as fast as we can. But there's other options that we do offer to sellers. There's sellers who, they might not care for selling their land as fast as possible, and they might want to get the best price out of their piece of land. So, we have different terms we can offer them. We can give them a better price for their land if, they're fine taking monthly payments for it. Because there are people we talk to that, I mean, they really don't care if they sell their land or not, but if they can get the money's worth out of it, then they'll do it. And I can tell them, hey, I can give you more than your asking price, more than market price if I can pay you over this period of time. I can even give you down payment here. And some people go for it, some people don't. It really depends. I can just offer them a good price for them, which would be good terms for me, or good terms for them, which would be a better price for me.
What are the most common questions you get, Isaac, for people that want to sell their land?
Who are you? That's
I
what
might
I
think,
get.
like, not to be offended or offensive, but I look at you and I'm saying like, why would this kid be the one who'd buy my land? Why wouldn't I go to, like, I don't know, an older person or a big bank or something?
Right.
Because I'm sure you get that all the time, whether they say it or not, right?
Right. And that was actually one of my worries about going out and showing my face. I mean, even on the phone, I'm sure you can tell that I'm young. I'm a young guy. I'll get that asked, like, how old are you? And I'll tell them my age, and sometimes it rubs them the wrong way. But I mean, how I got here is because I really enjoy learning and I enjoy getting the most out of whatever I'm doing. So if I am going to be going into plumbing, I'm going to learn the most I can about plumbing and I'm going to learn how to plumb the best. So it's the same with this buying and selling land. I'm going to figure out how I can stand out from those other people who just buy land cash. Instead of only asking sellers, can I buy your land at a discount? I'll close quick. It's like, there's a lot of people who don't want that. So I figure I can help out a lot more people if I can offer more things to them, which a lot of people who are buying and selling land right now, they don't do. So that makes me stand out. I mean, I'm just always learning. I know that no matter how much I learn about this expertise of real estate, there will always be more to learn.
What kinds of things are you learning now about
So
buying land or this niche?
one of the things I'm learning about is called lot subordination, and this is actually a really cool concept. So if I go to a seller and say market price for their piece of land is $20,000, but they want $30,000 for it, which is 10,000 more than it would sell for on the market. I could give them an offer and say, "Hey, I'll give you your 30,000 if you let me sign a lot subordination contract, which lets me take control of the piece of land and put my name on the deed. And I can go to a bank and then start building on that land because my name is on the deed. And then once the house or whatever I put on it is sold, then that seller gets their $30,000 after the bank is paid." So that's one creative way of getting people, more money. I've never done it. I would love to do it. There's probably not many people out there who would do it because it takes trust. It takes a lot of trust, which is something you can build, but I think that's really cool.
So I did a little research and to see what the most common questions are. I thought maybe I'd ask you some of these questions. And if there's
Okay.
ones that you want to insert, just go ahead and ask the question of yourself and answer it.
Okay.
It seems like the most common one is how much can I sell my land for? What's my land worth?
All right. So how we figure out what a piece of land is worth, A, I can call up my friend who's a real estate agent and deals with land a lot and be like, hey, can you please figure out how much this piece of land is worth? And then they'll come back to me with a number and I'll trust them. But if I do it on my own, I I'll look at the sold comparable pieces of land in the area in the last 6 months to a year. So if there's, a piece of land that's about the same acreage, same type of land that sold in the last 6 months, I'm going to go look at the price per square foot on that. And then I can go use that price per square foot so I can get the exact market value of, the subject piece of land we're looking at and figure out what the market value of it is.
So
So that
why wouldn't
is,
I just go to Zillow and look at similar size plots in similar areas and say, well, it's about this compared to similar lots that have sold recently?
you could, I mean, people do that. That really is essentially what I do. I'll just look at similar lots and figure out what the market value of it is. And, it depends on how much it is worth to you. Some people buy it as an investment and they don't want to sell unless they sell for a profit. Because I mean, I know there's some places in North Carolina, people bought a piece of land for 60,000. Right now it's worth 20,000. And, they just want to keep riding the saddle till the prices go back up. Some people are just willing to cut their losses and put that money elsewhere.
Why would they want to work with you versus just do a for sale by owner?
There's a lot of hurdles that, come in between signing a purchase agreement and, finally getting to that last date where you actually close and sell a property.
A lot of people, like you said, they just want to take care of the situation. Other people, they want to get the most value and they're willing to wait it out.
Yeah.
And they
Okay.
need to trust that you're the guy who can do it for them. And all the while they're thinking, is this guy reputable? Does he have experience? Is he too young? Can he actually afford to buy my property? How is he different than another real estate agent? What's so different about, if there's anything different about buying land versus one that has property on it? What are some considerations that I would need to know? What are things I don't know that might get me in trouble?
Yeah. So some people just want someone else to take care of it.
But if you're talking to a motivated seller, it would be a different situation, wouldn't it? So maybe
Yeah.
talk about some situations that you've been in. Just tell some stories, different situations that you've been in, just to share some experience. That's the main thing we want to capture.
Okay.
Because I know you don't have that problem when someone's saying, "Hey, I need some help. I'm trying to sell this land. What do you think?"
Right. Here's an experience I had last year. I messaged this one guy, this potential seller, about, if he was interested in selling his property. And this is probably the easiest transaction I've ever had because this guy knew exactly what he wanted. He knew how he wanted it done. He told me, okay, 40 grand and you close in 30 days, all cash, I'll be happy. And I told him, I was like, okay, let me do some more research on your property and then I'll get back to you. I did the research. I was like, wow, this guy, he gave me a really fair price for it. And I asked him if he had dealt with other people who were wanting to buy his land before. He told me yes, but not a single one of those people were able to follow through, even on his fair price. So I guaranteed him and reassured him that I would be able to do that. And there were actually no hiccups, zero hiccups from start to finish. This was the easiest transaction I had because this guy was prepared and he was motivated enough to prepare with a price and do his own research. And from there, I was able to buy his property.
What'd you do with the property?
So I can either buy and hold it, buy it and put a property on it, such as, single family home or a modular home, a mobile home, or one of my other exit strategies I can use is what's called wholesaling. So if I get it at such a discount and I don't really want to do anything with this piece of land, I can just give it to, one of my buyers that I have in my network. So I have multiple strategies I can use depending on the piece of land.
So you're taking on that risk on what to
Right.
do to extract the most value from that property.
Right, exactly. And it takes work, and a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to learn how to develop their land as best as possible, put utilities on it. It's just, a headache. And, I want to take that headache away from these sellers and these landowners because those headaches are usually what prevent people from selling.
What's the, I know it varies, but I see a common question is how long does it take to sell my land?
How long does it take? So when we offer to buy properties, we, depending on the price, the term to close, or the date to close can be pushed back based on, the price. If so, this is where price and terms come into the equation. If the seller is going to want more of, they really want their price, then I'm going to get the best terms possible for me, which would be having a longer closing date so that I can raise the capital to buy the property. If the property is given at a discount to me, then hey, dude, I'll close in 30 days. I'll do everything I can to get this closing as fast as possible. So for land, I think the average is it's not 30 days. It's probably somewhere around 60 days to 90 days. Most of my transactions in the past have been 30 days. So I'm able to close very fast.
So what are you doing that allows you to close deals faster? Because some people just want to get rid of the land fast, but they don't want to lose too much money to be able to get it done fast.
So what do I do?
Yeah. How are you able to do that? If the average is 60 to 90 days, but you can often do it in 30, what is it that you're doing differently?
It's just I really don't know why people don't buy land quicker. I mean, it's probably just because they want more time to hammer out their plans for that property before buying it. So that's what they just have a long due diligence period. But if I get a property under contract at a very desirable price for me, then that's something I'm willing to figure out, down the road because, at the end of the day, if I am not able to figure something out, I have my exit strategy of, just selling the property to one of my buyers who I know is able to do something with it.
So how do you, I had two questions lined up for you, but
Okay.
I was listening to you that I forgot what they were. So you have to, so who is buying? So let's say I'm a seller. So when are you raising capital? When are you just using money that you have? Like, because if I look at you, I think this guy can't. Maybe he can, but how can this guy afford buying my land?
Right. That's why I
Is that like
have
a suitcase
partners.
full of cash somewhere hidden under his mattress somewhere? I mean,
Right.
maybe
No,
it's just like a $20,000 piece of land, but maybe, I've got a property that's worth $1 million. Can he afford it?
right. Yeah, I can only dream of having that money. Maybe someday. But I have partners. I have partners who have money and they get compensated for me being able to use their money.
Talk about
So,
that because that's important to know because that builds trust to show that it's more than this Isaac guy who started doing this as a side hustle, but there's other people involved and they had to trust you
right, right,
to do a deal that you syndicate or use their money on.
right. Okay.
Just tell
Yeah.
some
So,
stories. I mean, we want to show that the more we can show that how you operate, the more trust there is, right? The more like another question I'd ask is like, how many lots have you bought? Right. And what has been your
mhm.
experience and what's happened in the last few nights? Just all these things that showcase your experience, right? Versus like,
Yeah.
here's some guy who says he can buy my land.
Right, right, right. Yeah. It's all about that is it EETA? Right?
EEAT, it's eat, but an
EEA.
extra E.
Okay.
How'd you
Okay.
sell your first property? Let's talk about that first deal.
My first deal.
Yeah.
See, it's actually that deal that I keep talking about.
Oh, this guy, the 40K deal.
The
Yeah.
easiest one. And that was probably the worst deal to have as my first one because it made me think that this was going to be oh so easy. And really, it's not at all.
Why
So
is
this
it not always so easy?
because there can be liens on the property, taxes that aren't paid off. You got to figure out if the land is buildable, if you can put a septic on it. if you can put a septic on it, how much of or how big of a septic tank. It could be in a flood zone, or sometimes there's someone who's on the deed who owns the piece of land. There's two people and the other guy doesn't want to sell, but one of them does. So this guy, he knew what he wanted. He just wants his 40 grand in 30 days and we're all good. And it was just such a pristine piece of land that I was able to get it under contract. And I knew this guy in the area who likes building cabins on that exact piece of land, that type of land. And I just offloaded it to him. So it was really easy. And we got it all we got it all inspected and got the thumbs up from everybody within probably a week. But then it was just a waiting game until the closing date with the title company.
That's a great deal. And
Yeah,
you're Johnny on the spot to make sure there's follow up on all the little pieces that have to happen. Just like in any kind of business, someone's just got to be on top of the details
right, right.
so that they can trust you on it. How many parcels have you bought?
That would be four
All right.
parcels.
Then what have you learned from that?
So I've learned that not every piece of land is a piece of land that you want to buy. For instance, a piece of land could be in a flood zone. And, sometimes there's people who I talk to and they really want to sell their piece of land. They reach out to me, I don't reach out to them. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. I got this person who really wants to sell their land. And then I take a look at the piece of land and it's a flood zone. It's a wetland. And I'm like, okay, I really don't want to work with that. The only way I would work with it is if I got it for this price, which is normally a really low price because of all the work that would have to be done to that property to make it usable. So it really depends on how badly someone really wants this piece of land gone, which normally is not bad enough to take it at a low price, which I don't blame them because those are kinds of problem properties you'd call
Can you
where
talk
they
about
just
some situations where you've said no and why?
it's not often that I say no because I think everything has a price to it. It really just depends on how much work it needs. Normally, if it needs a lot of work, I'll give the price for it, which is usually a low price because it needs a lot of work. People normally say no to those offers, but I don't normally say no to other people. I don't actually know a situation where I would say no and where I wouldn't, give them an offer.
Or maybe if for the right price, you'd do it, but they're unreasonable. Their expectations just way out of line with what the market supports.
Right. Actually, yeah, that's it's a perfect thing to bring up during COVID. Everybody thought their piece of land was worth $1 million. So it was hard not to offend anybody, trying to give them reasonable offers that the market would support because, during that time, the market was going up. Everybody's buying. It's a total buyer or total seller's market. And I'd have to tell people like, sorry, but your land isn't worth as much as you think it is. Here's the pieces of land that have sold in the area, so this is how much it's worth. But some people buy land as an investment and kind of see it as a stock. They're just going to wait for it to keep going up and up and up and just wait to sell it when it's at its highest. And I guess you'd say they thought the highest was right then and there, but it really wasn't there. So those are times where I've just had to say no, where
Yeah.
they wanted a price that was unfair.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't know about some of the creative things I can do to get people their price that they want.
Okay. Talk about how you look at things as a real estate investor in Vancouver, Washington. Because you're not just a guy who buys land. Because as a real estate investor, you're deciding what's the best use of that, and you're trying to figure out something that works for the seller. It's not just like, here's the price. There's a lot of nuance and negotiation. You have to line up a potential buyer that someone else who's a random real estate agent wouldn't have that network, like the guy who wanted to build cabins, like having the network. Like, talk about the network in your area and how that plays, and anything you can weave in specific to the Vancouver, Washington area, just so people know that that's your area, right? That's the signal that we're missing here. Talk about, like landmarks or place you grew up or your favorite sports team, or, all these things to show that you live and breathe that area, that you were there, even though you don't live there now.
All right. So when I was younger, probably about 12 to 14, I used to referee for soccer games. And those soccer games took me all over the county, Clark County, Washington. And a lot of those soccer fields are placed near beautiful properties. I got to see so much of the land that Clark County has to offer. And I grew up in Battleground, so I got to see it really, really change from, a smaller town to, we're building hundreds of apartments right now. And, to see the type of expansion like that it's actually really, really crazy. And I think that's just because, the Vancouver area is getting too full. So they're spreading out to the suburbs, which Battleground is, it's above Vancouver. So I've been able to see the area really grow and develop. And that's how I'm able to know that, there's lots of people moving there. Population is growing pretty stupidly fast. You're one of those people in the area and you're kind of like, no, like we want people to stay away. But it's like, no, there's apartment buildings getting thrown up everywhere, new construction getting thrown up everywhere. And, that's another reason where I was like, oh, I could invest in land. I mean, there's so many things that are happening right now. People trying to build stuff. There's not enough houses, there's not enough supply. Like I can buy up that land and people will want to buy that land for me, or I can build up on that land and, help the area grow.
Good. More on the different neighborhoods and just things you like to do, places you've been.
I'm a big fisherman and also I like to hunt. I'm not as big into hunting as I am fishing, but that picture you saw and commented on that, started us talking, that bow fishing picture, I actually did that on Vancouver Lake. So Vancouver Lake is full of the invasive species carp, and the city loves when people kill carp because all they do is just trash lakes, really. And it's ironic because they were brought over from Europe and Asia as a delicacy. And now we see them as just some trash fish. Nobody wants them. They're terrible. They taste gross. Some people know how to cook them. I don't. But yeah, Vancouver Lake is where I'll go bow fishing. The East Fork Lewis River is where I'll fly fish. I'm a big fly fisherman. I don't want to tell people where exactly I fly fish because I don't want to ruin any spots. But yeah, so I grew up fishing, Battleground Lake, Vancouver Lake, bow fishing. I don't just normally fish there during beginning of summer, end of spring. There's a there's a fish called shad, and they'll run through the Columbia River all along, the cities that border Oregon and Washington. And there will be hundreds of thousands that cross the dam in one day. During that season, my dad and I will go fish and we'll catch literally 100 in a day. And they're not a small fish. They're probably about I can't even show it on the camera. They're big.
And what do you do with the 100 fish?
We just give it to the people next to us because they're very bony fish, and so they probably take some good special care to cook. But the people next to us, we normally find they know how to cook them. They love them, and that's why they're there. They're there to feed their families. My dad and we're just there for fun. So, we'll give them our fish. Sometimes they'll throw us a Coke or a Snickers bar, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
That is cool.
Yeah.
All right, now I want to switch gears and I want you to basically make an ad and say, hey, are you looking to sell your land? I'm Isaac Hall, and say something about your company, who you are, and reach out to me. I would love to explore options on what help you first understand, no obligation, what your land is worth and what you can get for it, and flexibility if you need to sell it fast versus you're just trying to get the best price. I'm a Vancouver native. I've lived here for 18 years. And I became a real estate investor because, blah, blah, blah. Just a few things, kind of like as a 1-minute video, not
Okay.
quite as a sales pitch, but just helping people understand who you are and that you're the one that they should talk to. So just look in the camera and explain who you are.
Okay. But sort of, okay. Yeah, just kind of let them know who I am.
And we can have multiple takes too, so don't even worry about it,
Okay.
right? Because it's not a live, kind of pitch kind of thing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I would hate that. I would not be prepared for that right now.
And can you like zoom out a little bit because your face is
What
kind of
if I
cut off a little bit?
it's cut off?
Well, it's like cut off your chin, but that's good. That's good. But you want to still get the microphone close to your face, so try to balance both. Make sure your face is inside the space, and then make sure
Okay.
a lot of things to think about.
Okay. Is that good? Can you hear
That's
me
good.
well?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Isaac Hall with Brisker Solutions. I buy and sell land in the Vancouver, Washington area.
All right. Stop there. So are you looking at yourself and
It-
pictures? So if you look in the camera,
I thought I
wherever
was.
you are,
Am I
okay,
looking at it right now?
it's close. It's close. So the
I'm
eye
looking at
contact
it
isn't
right.
quite there. No,
Hold on.
it
Tell me
looks
when.
close.
Is it
No,
is it is it better if I look this way or this way?
no. It needs to. We need to establish direct eye contact.
I'm not even kidding you. I'm
There we
looking
go. All right, there.
directly.
That's good. That's good like that. Okay.
I didn't change a thing.
Okay. Well, whatever it was, it looked like you're looking off. Right? Am I crazy? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's looking in the cameras. Direct eye contact. See, I'm doing direct eye contact. Right now, I'm looking at the screen. Now I'm doing direct eye contact. Right now,
Okay, maybe my eyes were too squinty. Am I looking at the camera right now?
I think you are. I mean, it looks like it's an inch off.
To the left or right? Or up or down?
I think you're looking like an inch to the right. That looks close. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Hey there, I'm Isaac with Brisker Solutions. We buy land and we sell land. I grew up in the Vancouver, Washington area for 18 years. I hunt, I fish, so I know the area well. Reach out to me so we can figure out how much your land is worth, no obligation. And after that, we can discuss what kinds of offers we can make so that both parties are happy. I don't know how to fill a
I think
minute.
that's weak.
I know, I'm not.
So you might. So what I often in situations like this, I will give you basically a rough draft, and what will
Mhm.
usually happen is that you will say, "Wow, that was really good. Can you just do it for me?" Or I don't remember the exact words. Can you give me the exact words that you used? But I want you to go for the gist. Don't try to say the exact words of what I'm saying. Okay. So kind
Okay.
of listen for the vibe. Look for kind of the direction I'm going and kind of paraphrase what I'm doing here. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Isaac Hall of Brisker Solutions. And if you're looking to sell your land in the Vancouver, Washington area, I'm your guy. Let's have a call to figure out what's your property worth and what you can sell it for so that we can figure out something that works well for your terms. If you're trying to sell your property fast or you're trying to get the best price, I have the network to be able to do that. Now, you might look at me and say, how can this kid do this? This kid with a young face. I'm a professional real estate investor and I will hustle for you. People work with me because they know I get the job done. And just like whatever you do, you know that there's a way of doing it and it's important to have someone who follows through. I take care of all those issues for you. I've established a reputation and I want you to have the same amazing success that I've had with the properties I've already sold. Reach out to me. Let's have a discussion.
I hate how natural that was for you.
I've done this thousands of times. Okay.
I hate that.
You can tell, right?
Yeah, you
And I even
definitely
address the
can tell.
concern that people are going to have, right?
Ah, Jeez Louise. Okay. Yeah, I have to try to not copy Dennis. Just the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks easy,
Uh,
doesn't it?
It does. You make it seem so easy. Okay. All right, give me a second.
If you want, I can give you another version that's easier.
No, no, don't worry. Another version would just probably upset me more
Okay.
because I'll be too worried about not saying what you're saying.
Okay. We'll do one at a time then.
Okay. 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 Making sure I'm in the picture.
Yep.
Microphone is good.
Yep.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay. Hey there, I'm Isaac of Brisker Solutions. I know I look young, but I know how to buy and sell land. I'm your guy. I hustle. And gosh, that was terrible. Okay. It wasn't too bad until I said I hustle.
So
Go.
just pretend you're talking to me. You're not trying to do like a commercial for thousands of people. Okay. You're just
No, but
talking to one guy. Let's say I had a death in the family. I inherited some property. I'm dealing with this situation. I don't know what to do. And you're a referral or you seem somewhat trustworthy, but I need to know more. Right.
yeah.
And you seem like someone that I might be able to work with, but I just don't
Okay.
know anything about you.
Okay. Hey there, this is Isaac of Brisker Solutions. I buy and sell land in the Vancouver, Washington area, and we turn your problems into a win-win situation. So should I address the exact problems that they would run into possibly? Like
Yeah.
if
There's a
you have a
lot of
piece of
things
land, just
special to you got a piece of land. It's not like selling a house like an average real estate agent would do for you. It's not just about having a listing or looking at Zillow. It's about having a network. It's understanding, the different neighborhoods. I understand options where you can get more than whatever asking price that you have. There's different creative, flexible things that we can do because we're connected to developers who want to develop property. I'm connected to different financing options. I have a group of folks that are part of a syndicate where, we buy real estate and we sell it or develop it, but it pays to work with people that specialize in buying land in the Vancouver area. And that's why we should have a discussion. Let's talk about that. It doesn't hurt to at least have a conversation to find out your options.
wow. So stupid. You don't even, oh my
I
gosh.
don't know a thing about real estate,
I
Isaac.
know. This is
I don't
my
know a
area of
thing.
expertise, and you're
Yeah, you ought
showing
to
me
be a little
up.
better at this than me.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Now I just gotta do it in the spirit of showing you up.
There you go. If that's what it takes. Okay, do that. Even Yaya will do it. He doesn't even speak English as his main language.
You know what? That would make me even more sad. Hey there, I'm Isaac with Brisker Solutions, and I specialize in buying land. I am a real estate investor, so I look for problems and I want to fix them. And I want to fix them in a way that you can.
You're trying
Okay.
too hard. You're
I
trying to sell. And that's why you're uncomfortable. That's why the words come out that way. Because it wasn't until now that you really started to struggle because you're feeling like it's a sales pitch.
I do, and I don't know how to make it not feel like that. I know you say just pretend it's me, but it doesn't help. I'll just need I don't know.
It's basically just to pretend you're like, I don't know, at Chili's or whatever, hanging out with a friend. What are you, LDS? So we can't say we're like having a beer, right?
Right? How did you figure that?
Logan, Utah? Come on.
But before that, did you just assume?
For some reason, a lot of my friends are LDS. Just who knows?
What?
They are. Yeah. Like I'm not going to name drop, but there are general authorities that have had issues and they come to me for help with digital marketing or Facebook.
Are
I've
you
taught at
kidding me?
BYU, LDS Business College, BYU Hawaii. I've done lots of training sessions.
It's actually
A
really
lot of
cool.
a lot of the stuff with returning missionaries. A lot of folks will ask, how long have I been LDS? I am not LDS, but I've read the Book of Mormon. I've wrote the letters to the missionary. I've read all the stuff. You can't, you're a missionary. You can't play full court basketball. Like I've read all the stuff like that. Only half court, right? I mean, I might surprise you with how much I know.
What the heck?
I've read
See,
all about Joseph Smith and all the issues and the controversies and
the funny thing is I
yeah.
I questioned that. I questioned if you had some sort of, Mormonism around you at least.
Really?
Because yeah, I don't know what it
I've
is.
never brought it up.
Because I know for some reason I just remember like maybe it was when you were speaking. I was looking for like how we wear garments. I don't,
Right.
but the garments. I was like, is there like a white shirt under there? But yeah, anyways, that's really cool though.
I think it's way harder to knock on doors than it is to do this.
Well, I would agree if the feeling is like it's a conversation, but this feels like I'm knocking on door trying to pitch. But
But just imagine it's us here. And I'm just asking you. So, Isaac, tell me about what you do. Well, Dennis, you
but
wouldn't expect it, but I got into real estate investing and I grew up in Vancouver, Washington. I did a lot of hunting and fishing, more fishing. And I started to understand that as an entrepreneur, I could buy and sell property. So I got connected in real estate and I formed a network of investors and friends that trusted me. And I've been successful in my first few deals. And I realized that I have a skill in this and it's not that hard. And mainly it's just educating sellers on what their options are. They don't even realize that when they have a piece of land, they can get more than they're asking for because it can be developed by someone else. There's more, it's more than just whatever you see on Zillow. And I really like helping other people because I've spent time studying and I can solve problems for other people. And it's been a lot of fun being an entrepreneur, realizing that even though there's a lot of other people that are real estate agents, it's because of the relationships and trust that you build in your community. And that's been all the more enjoyable for me as a real estate investor in Vancouver.
Okay. You're better at
I can go
being
all day. I can do
you're
50
better
different
at
ways if
being
you
me
like.
than I am at being me.
This has nothing to do with technical SEO, engineering, digital marketing, okay?
I know. I know. Okay.
It's all in your head, Isaac, right?
I know it is. I think I just need to
This
just
is the
start
thing that
spitting
you
it
do.
out.
I don't even do this.
I know. You're not making it any better, right? Okay. Yeah, so it may not look it, but I buy and sell land. And I've bought and sold land for the last 2 years. And I got into it because of, the involvement that I have with nature when I go hunt and fish. Nope, that's a lie. That's a total lie. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I'm Isaac Hall with Brisker Solutions, and I know it may not look like it, but I buy and sell land. And shiz, dude.
This is normal, right?
I do. I do, but it's
First few times it's awkward, and then you get better. And then once you realize that this isn't some sort of on-camera podcast thing, even though that's what it feels like to you, what
yeah.
it really is core communication skills. And so when you learn these core communication skills, this helps you in everything that you do.
Mhm.
It's only because this was exposed to you in a Zoom call that you realize that this gap was there, but it's always been there and has nothing to do with Zoom calls. It has nothing to
Yep.
do with digital marketing. It's just something you didn't realize you had as a skill to improve upon.
Yeah, it's even more frustrating because, when sellers do ask me these kinds of questions, I don't have a problem coming off the cuff with answers, but
And so you can give them a great answer, but when you learn how to communicate in different styles, all your communication becomes more effective. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I don't discount the fact that the conversations are great when people call you up or whatnot, but imagine it could be better.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
no, I
what I'm
believe
telling
my
you. I've helped a lot. I've been through this situation many, many times. What you're going to discover, which is going to be a real delight for you, is that by improving your communication skills, it's not just for podcasts and public speaking, it's for any communication that you have.
Yep.
To be able to communicate more powerfully and clearly, close more deals, negotiate better, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's what what we're talking about is making you a more powerful communicator. It just happens to be you haven't been under the magnifying glass until now. But I promise you the thing that I don't want to say it in a bad way, but this has always been the case
Hmm.
until the light gets turned on and you realize, gee, I need to improve my communication skills.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's why I'm like having this feeling like I need to run away. But
It's always embarrassing at first when you turn on the light because you were in the dark room the whole time and you didn't realize it.
yeah. No, I see the point you're making.
It's worth it. And it's not that hard. I know I say it all the time. Oh, it looks easy for you, Well, it is easy for me, but it's
It's a
just some
skill.
practice. It's
It's a
just
skill.
practice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
I don't know how to say it without it sounding.
But plus because you live in Logan, Utah, and I'm sure you only come back once in a while. Most of your interaction has to be digital. You're not meeting people in person. So how you come across electronically is even more important because you don't live in the area. You're not meeting them at Starbucks. Not that you would drink coffee anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And then as you get further along and you sell more properties, once you bought 20 pieces of land, 30 pieces of land, you're going to want to start interviewing other people in your network. So who are some of these other investors who line up the financing, the other lenders who, what are, I don't know, maybe you interview some of the people you've sold if they probably don't want to talk about it, but talk about, interview people who are like competitors, but they're not really competitors. There's all the other people in the industry. Like you could probably at some point ask Tom Ferry for an interview, right? You know who he is, right?
Ferry?
Tom Ferry.
I actually don't.
Okay. He's the number one guy in real estate for real
What?
estate agents. Yeah. He's the most famous guy.
Well, I
We have a
mean, I'm not a
master.
real estate agent,
I
so
know it's not real, but just in the whole sphere of like buying and selling real estate, of which land is one part, right?
okay. I thought it would have
But
been Pace Morby,
Pace is a
honestly.
buddy of ours too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. We
so
helped him with
cool.
this digital marketing last year.
What?
And he's coached by Mark Lack, and I'm the one who developed Mark Lack.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I can pull up my texts and show you
I'm
anyway.
so jealous of that. Okay. All right. Now I think I'm just stalling. So, all right.
And your camera's coming in 2 days anyway. So this is just a first draft. As you get more practice, it'll be better and better. But I want to get some in today because some people say, oh, I'll just wait until I'm perfect, then record. Like, no, the whole point is you have to get in the reps. And having a
Yeah.
nicer camera doesn't solve the communication issue.
Right. Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of massive imperfect action.
Exactly.
So, okay. I don't know how to sound not salesy without saying, hey there.
Well, then just
Uh,
pretend you're talking only to me.
okay. Okay. I'll pretend.
And you could, if you wanted to, you could say, "Hey, Dennis, I'm a real." If I do that, I could if you want. I
Dennis
could give you
messed
another
up.
example, but then you
Dennis
probably
messed
wouldn't
up.
like that. Yeah,
Okay.
just pretend you're talking to me. Hey, Dennis, I buy and sell land in Vancouver, Washington.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
odd.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I hate this. Hey there, Dennis. Okay. Yeah, I buy and sell land in Washington. We try to get in contact with sellers and landowners who, might want to sell their land, or maybe they don't even know they want to sell their land because they don't know what they can do with it. We have many, many different kinds of options we can offer. Some of them, they can even get you above asking price of what your land is worth. And, it wouldn't hurt for you to, try to talk to me about your piece of land and see what we can do to make this a win-win situation. Okay, that was better.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't even mention Vancouver, Washington.
Nope. I
I
wasn't
didn't
going to
do that.
criticize you or your company name. And you said we, which is a vague we. People are looking at you thinking, what does he mean by we?
Yeah, me and my little brother, my 10-year-old brother. No. Okay.
You're probably growing this thing, the stubble to look older, right?
Oh, yeah, but I think it looks worse when I grow it out longer. It's like not full
Yeah.
because
Because
I
then you
mean,
look like a bum.
yeah, exactly. So I try to still keep it trim, but it does something. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Hey there.
Have
So
you
I'm
tried it
I
without the baseball cap? Sorry. Or
you
try
want
it
to
without the
you want to
headphones?
see it?
Well,
Okay.
what's up? And you could even put on a nicer shirt. I don't want to go through the whole thing right now, but yeah, let's see it. Why not?
My hair?
Yeah, let's see your hair. Is it bad?
Probably.
You
Yeah,
have hat head?
I put the hat on right when I got out the shower.
Well, at least you have hair. I think that looks more professional than it is to have a hat.
What?
I think if you were to have like a not like you have to, wear a tie or anything, but think about who the average buyer that you're talking to is probably 40s, 50s, or 60s, right?
Yeah.
And so what are they thinking? They want someone that they can relate to.
Am I talking to the buyer or did you mean
Or I'm
seller?
sorry, I'm seller. What am I talking about? The seller. Yeah.
Okay.
If they're in a life
So,
situation where something like, someone's died or they got divorced, they're probably not 20.
okay. There's something, I mean, I'll just ask you. Some people are very anti like get dressed and look professional in this kind of area of expertise because you don't want to come off as like a real estate agent or scare people away because there's some people who
Right.
don't want to work with agents.
Right.
So I mean, what would your take kind of be on that?
So you don't want to look or sound like some sales guy, real estate agent, used car slick hair,
Yeah.
but you also want your seller to feel comfortable with you. So
Okay.
if you're comfortable, baseball cap backwards, kind of like hanging out with the friends, that's cool too. I think the most important thing is whatever makes you comfortable. But ideally, if you can do it dressed in a way that I'm not saying you need to be professional,
Hmm.
right? But other things where it doesn't obscure being able to see you. So we want you to come off as authentic and trustworthy as possible. So that's why I like the nicer camera and the lighting and not blurring the background or things like that. Just comes off, feels like more authentic, and it's not like you don't have to be in a video studio or anything like that, right?
Hmm.
But you can see or hear like this microphone using this versus the laptop's mic is just
Yeah.
a better experience because it feels like we're close. Like we're trying to simulate as if you and I were having dinner,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Especially because you're doing this virtually mostly, right? You're not meeting people at the property.
Right.
So this kind of appearance thing, even though I think it is superficial, actually matters to most people.
Hmm. See, yeah, I was just thinking it matters in like the opposite way, where they want someone more like them, which you'd call Joe Schmo. I
Yeah.
don't know. So,
That works both ways, but don't use that as an excuse to, look like a bum, right?
good thing this is a rough draft.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is practice,
Okay.
and you've got a good attitude about it, which is awesome. Most
Okay.
people, this has amazed me for years and years. They are good at the thing they do. They're a good plumber. They're a good landscaper, but they just can't change gears and be able to communicate, right? They're good at their craft, but They basically
Right.
are a worker. I mean, technically they're a business owner, but they're a worker inside their business. And there's another level up to communicate as a business owner. And when you are doing a transaction, whether you're buying a business or buying a piece of property or buying something that is more than the price of a used car, there's a higher level of expectation and there's a stronger kind of level of communication that you got to have.
Okay.
And so that's what you're learning here, which is great.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
just reps, as you see, right? I've got a lot of reps, so and I've done it in pretty much any industry.
Yeah. Do you even get nervous public speaking anymore?
Nope. I spoke at the world's largest affiliate marketing conference in Dubai a week ago. And for other people, that's like a lifetime achievement kind of moment.
Yeah.
I was the headliner and it was fun. So it wasn't nervousness. So what you do is you reframe, and this is a trick I learned from other people who are public speakers and big time CEOs that I've been very lucky to have as mentors, is that what you might initially feel is fear. That's what people feel when they do public speaking, and all kinds of like self judgment and am I going to mess up my words and I look bad and will I trip and all this kind of embarrassment and fear of what could happen badly. You can reframe that same physiological response into excitement, like it's Christmas and I'm opening up a gift. I don't know what's inside, but there's the excitement, there's the anticipation, positive anticipation that I know I'm getting a gift. And so the way you do that is when you're speaking on stage, you realize these people are not here to criticize me or boo me. They've already come in expecting that it's going to be a good time, expecting that I'm going to share something that's valuable. They expect they're cheering for us. They are not the enemy. And I'm here to help them. I'm here to deliver upon what they want, right? And they're not judging. The only judgment is coming from yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so when you approach it with that optimism, as we're making videos here, that, Isaac, is what shows through in the video. It's not even the exact words that you use. I mean, obviously, we want to say Vancouver, Washington, and are you looking to sell your land? And I'm Isaac Hall. And yes, you want to include those pieces. But the reason people want to buy from you, as you'll discover from people that are professionals in selling, is because they feel like they identify with you. They feel like they trust you. So if they also do fishing, if they also are LDS, if like whatever it is, people will, that's how people make decisions, not on, I wonder if this guy is actually the best guy who can sell my land. That's not how people make decisions.
Yeah.
So it's all those factors that don't seem to matter that are actually the critical factors that people use in decision making. It's so irrational, but that's how it is.
Okay.
So when you
All right.
realize that, now you know that anyone who's watching your videos, they're already predisposed to liking and trusting you.
Yeah.
And now it's like you're talking to a friend.
Yeah. Okay.
I know
All
that's
right.
like a weird way to process it, but if once you realize that, that answers your question of overcoming fear of public speaking and overcoming the hurdle that you've had here in making videos.
Yeah. I mean, it helps. Still gotta get the reps though, for sure.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put the hat on really quick.
All right. But for the next one, let's do one without the hat and without the headphones.
Okay. Do you
The
want
headphones make it look like you're in a call center or like you're in like a spare bedroom or whatever. That's why you blur it so people can't see there's a bed behind you. But yeah, I get it. I get it.
I'll move everything to the side next time.
How could this guy buy my property if he's like in some like little apartment or whatever? Like, I don't know.
Right. Okay. All right.
You have some lights coming your way too, which will give you a nice colored background.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
All
going to be
right.
Christmas for you in 36 hours.
I look forward to it. Did you say something was supposed to come before lunchtime?
I got to check what Amazon says, but I think I missed it by like 15 minutes, the
Okay.
cutoff. So it's going to come on Saturday. I think it's all going to come on. It's going to come in 2 deliveries. I think you'll
Okay.
get like 3 or 4 things.
Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to do a before and after. We're going to show how bad you were on video before, and then we're going to show how good you are after going through some basic training. And then you're going to explain to people how you got better.
So then should I make this like the worst possible?
No.
To make it look better.
We always
Okay.
want to be authentic, right?
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Because all the
Okay.
other people, they struggle with this is the biggest thing
Oh,
that we
shoot.
we have with successful entrepreneurs is that they're good at the thing that they do,
but not communicating
Right.
effectively.
They know they
Yeah.
got to make the 1 minute videos. They've seen me preach about it. They've seen people like Tommy Mello. He seems natural on camera, but you know what? He had to learn too. All these guys had to
Yep.
learn.
Yep. This is just learning.
I mean, do you think
Okay.
Tommy Mello is really that much better at installing garage doors than the other guy?
Yeah, probably not.
It's because his communication skills are better.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great sales guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey there, I'm Isaac Hall with Brisker Solutions, and I buy and sell land in Vancouver, Washington area, commonly mistaken as Vancouver, BC, but in my opinion, the better Vancouver. And we have lots that we can offer you if you have. Okay.
You're doing great.
That started out really well.
That was
And then
excellent.
I
Yeah.
got in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
I got in my head. If you have questions about selling your property or what it's worth, we can answer those questions for you, and we can talk about possible options for you. We can even give you options that, will put cash in your hands in 30 days, or we can even give you more than your asking price. Feel free to give us a call, reach out, and we can work something out. Hopefully we can work something out. Okay, that felt better,
Better.
but
Okay. So if you were to critique how do you make it better?
okay. So I finally mentioned Vancouver.
Good.
I didn't address any specific problems that people might have.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I didn't do that. If that really matters, does that matter? Should I point out like
I mean, the
for
idea of
example?
with EEAT, you're demonstrating experience and expertise, all of these things to build trust, to show that. So another way to package that in, so people are clear about what you do, and you're
Um,
someone they could work with, is you could say, "I'm Isaac Hall. I don't look like it, but I'm a professional real estate investor. I bought my first piece of land 2 years ago, and I did it in 30 days. And I know how to do it in 30 days. And I've done it for other folks before. I have a knack at this. And if you're looking to sell your land, there's some things that you need to know. And I'm happy to sit down and discuss what's your land worth. If you want to sell it right away, if you need creative options on how to get the asking price or more, I'm happy to show all the knowledge that I've gained in this area. It doesn't hurt to have a conversation. And the cool thing is that talking to me, because I grew up in Vancouver, Washington, I have a network of people who develop properties, who also are investors, and we syndicate together so that we can rely upon my network to do all the details that are necessary in being able to sell your property. And you see, so I'm addressing the concerns about who is this kid. I'm showing that, oops, are we still here? I didn't lose it, did it? Okay, some other window popped up. I'm addressing the questions on what do I do and why you should choose me. And I'm also showing that I'm reputable and I'm confident, but not overconfident, not like sales puffery confident, that I can add value and answer your questions. And I'm here not to sell, but I'm using a tone of I'm here to help you, right? I've been doing this professionally for several years now. I've sold a number of properties, or sorry, I bought a number of pieces of land, and I know what to do with the land. I can advise you on, should you sell the land? What's it worth now? If you develop it, what's it worth? What are other similar parcels worth? Why is the pricing different? I mean, obviously go to Zillow, but I can give you a little bit more insight into that because I have a network of buyers, of people who would want to develop your property in this particular situation, right?
yeah.
I'm approaching it from the angle of I want to help you, not like I'm just trying to buy your land. I'm some kid trying to buy your land.
Right. Yeah, that definitely makes a big difference. Okay.
Do you have pictures and videos from all over Vancouver, Washington? If you put them all in a folder, that would actually help out a lot too. Because we're trying to establish to Google and to humans that you know the area, you've lived in the area, you've been around the area, right?
Yeah, I would have a lot of those photos.
Yeah. So we just need to make that visible to the internet, right?
All right. Should this be my last take?
Yeah. One more
Final?
take.
Okay. Gonna hold on. I need to map it out in my head a little bit. Hey there, I'm Isaac Hall with Brisker Solutions, and I know I may not look like it, but I buy land. And I buy land in Vancouver, Washington, which is where I grew up. I lived there for 18 years. I hunt and I fish, so I know the area very well. I know it well enough to know that it's one of the best areas to grow up in. Um, If you're interested in selling your land, then the guy to talk to is me. I I'm able to let you know what your land is worth, and I'm able to walk you through a bunch of I'm able to walk you through different options, some creative, some not, of how we can best help you out. That could be giving you the price that you want or giving you fast close. The first property I bought was 2 years ago, and we closed that. I closed that in 30 days. So if you have any questions about, what the process of selling your land could look like, then feel free to reach out to me and ask any questions.
That was way
All right.
better. I give it a B minus. So
Okay. Okay.
that's good.
What's the feedback? I know I corrected myself as I was
Yeah.
going,
Yeah,
just
the
to
we, the
not
I
stop the
piece. That
flow.
this is a mindset shift. So this is a subtle one, but almost everyone misses this when they're new. Is you said, well, if you want to talk about stuff, you could contact me. So what we want to do is assume that if they're watching this video, but you don't have to say if. We know that they're
They
selling a piece of land.
they want to talk
I'm
to me.
happy to,
Right.
I'm happy to sit down with you and answer all your questions. Let's talk about what's your property worth? What are some of the things that we can do to get the best price? Let's
Mhm.
talk about how to sell it in 30 days and what are the steps necessary so that we can have a fast close. I'm here to help you. Reach out. Here's my number. Right? Do you see the difference between that versus, well, if maybe you might be interested, or maybe if you have like a
Possibly
question, like, I mean, if you have questions, like you could contact me maybe.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see the difference?
I see the difference.
Let's try one more time, assuming that you can help them and assuming that we're going to have a conversation, but we're not forcing it. We're not being pushy, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I can't be worse than my last one. Otherwise, it's more embarrassing. Okay. Hey, I'm Isaac Hall with Brisker Solutions. You're interested in selling your land and you don't know where to start. Well, I've been buying and selling land for the last 2 years in Vancouver, Washington. I grew up in Vancouver for 18 years. I hunt and I fish, so I know the area very well. I have a lot of people who come to me not knowing what to do about their piece of land because they have a death in the family. They don't know how to pay the taxes on it. There was a divorce, and they don't know what their next step is. Well, I've been able to help a lot of people in these situations, and I can do the same for you. I can let you know what the steps are to take to sell your piece of land. I can even let you know what it's worth, obligation free. We have plenty of different options that we can give to you to give you the best price or the fastest closing. I'd be happy to help you, so reach out to me and we can talk more about it.
I give it a B.
Okay.
It's an improvement. I think
Okay.
it's a good point to end on. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an A, but it's still good. It's pass. A B is still a pass.
It's not impressive to be passing in the United States because I think it's a D, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah.
So it's not impressive. I'm not going to settle.
But do you expect your first time out to be a pro?
No, I don't. That's what I'm happy with that one because I was able to address what I wanted to fix, which was
It's
doubt.
usable, but it's like a donut tire, you know? You can
All
go
right.
55, but it's
Yeah.
not, you want to obviously have a real tire on there.
Yeah, you want to change it out before a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, what would you critique on that one? Just the ums and the flow?
It seemed hesitant. And so that comes across as you being unsure. But the reason why it's hesitant is that your brain is still trying to form the words, not because you're unsure of yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I think
So you
that'll
could
just
slow down. There's lots of ways that practice also speeds you up as well.
yeah, yeah. I think it just honestly with the repetitions, it's kind of just going to be unraveling like everything that's going on in my head. So it'll definitely help to take some repetitions in between now and
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So I know
So
this is supposed to be a podcast, but it turned into a training session.
it did. And I appreciate it, even if it's not what you wanted it to turn into. I really appreciate that.
No, the key is benefit for you. The reason why we want to do this podcast was to help you
Yeah,
and help you rank and get more clients. And it's not enough for SEO to rank on those keywords, because even if you ranked on the keywords, but you didn't generate more deals, you didn't buy more land, then there's no point.
yeah,
So we're just trying to see it all the way through. So if the thing we need to work on is you getting basic communication skills to make 1 minute videos, then that's what we'll work on.
Okay. Hey, that does make me feel better about myself. I did have a question about SEO.
Yep.
So,
We got 1 minute. I'm teaching a master class in 1 minute, but ask quick.
okay. So if I were to expand my market to say like an entire state, SEO wise, like how messy would that be?
You could do it, but you just have to have a lot more experience and there's a lot more competition, obviously.
Okay. All
And you
right.
probably would need
Perfect.
more people. You have to set up multiple GMBs. Then you probably need to have a real office if you're doing it statewide. I mean, there's other things you need to do, but I want to start with the basic things.
Okay. Perfect. I was just confused or
No,
concerned about
it's
that.
not an SEO thing. It's demonstrating you have experience in a larger geography,
Okay.
more
Perfect.
stories, right? More of everything.
Great. Thank you for taking the time to work this
Yeah.
out with me. It
Yeah. Was it valuable?
was very valuable.
What
Anything
would you
that takes me out of my comfort zone is considered valuable in my opinion.
what would you say for another entrepreneur like you who is maybe doesn't know what they don't know and maybe, hasn't had a session like this before? What can they expect and what's the benefit?
What can they expect from a session like this?
Yeah.
Uncomfortableness. I'll be honest, it's just peeling back those layers that you have to, I mean, that's really what allows you to grow, is finding out and addressing the mistakes and any of the doubt you might have in your mind. It's addressing those and first recognizing them and then fixing them. That can apply to anything. My SEO is terrible. I had to address that it was terrible to even recognize that I need it fixed. Same with my communication skills.
But now,
But now there is hope at the end of the tunnel. There's light. I know what my path looks like to getting more reputable SEO and improving my communication skills. And even just in this session, I feel a lot more comfortable communicating to, who my seller would be and getting into the mindset of the person I'm trying to reach so that I can better understand them and their problems.
good job, Isaac. Well, let's do
Thank you.
round two when you get your special gift and I think you'll like it.
Sweet. Yeah,
Let me know
I'm
what you think.
I'm excited. I'm
All
really
right.
excited.
Cool, man. Just let me know if you're on this weekend or next week. We'll schedule part two.
Okay. Sweet. Are you just
All
gonna send the calendar?
You just tell me.
Okay.
Yep.
Sweet. Thank
Awesome.
you.
We'll catch you later, my friend.